Good morning, Steve from Steve's Locksmith Shop. And in the shop this morning, I thought I'd do a little video. I had a guy call me about this baby here, the ITL 950. And this is one I use all the time in the shop. And I did a couple repair videos on it. But by no means am I an expert. The one main reason I have this in the shop versus on the van are these stupid little things. They're spacers. And depending on what key you cut, you got to have a different spacer in it, which is no big deal. But when you have it in a van, you tend to leave the spacers in the jaws. And going down the road, the spacer flies out and falls on the ground, and you can't ever find the thing, you know. And a couple times I had this machine fail on me. A power supply went out or something went wrong on it a couple times, and I just couldn't trust it on the van. Even though I had it for years and it failed on me, it left me hanging at the worst spot when I needed it. The other thing is this book here. You don't want to lose this. This is all your manufacturer numbers. Well, good thing is this machine does hook to generic code software. I don't have it fired up right now, but we'll fire it up. Got this laptop computer hooked to the cable, and it does send the information down to it, so that's kind of cool, and it works good for the shop. So I moved it from my van to the shop, but one thing is the guy was having trouble because his his XY axis was messed up, so the cut was cutting a little bit over too far. And I wanted to do, this is the calibration instructions on page 6, just in case you don't have it. I'm going to hold this here for a second, and hopefully you guys could get a screenshot of how to calibrate it. One thing it says here, wait one second. Calibration, it just basically gives you a warning that you could smash it into the jaws if you do it wrong. I had to do this procedure once on it. I don't remember what the reason was. Maybe I changed the motherboard or something. I don't remember. But hopefully that helps you out. And then you could also call Verge at Interlock and Brand. He is the guy that, I think it's only like a 3-people company, but he's the guy that will walk you through it. Hopefully you catch him on a good day, because it just depends with him. But anyways, I thought I'd do a little video on the ITL, and I'll show you one other thing. I'm in the shop right now. And then I moved this, after I got the ITL off the van, I put this machine on the van, which was working great, but then it failed me on the van, electronic machine, and so I didn't want to risk it, because this was a quite expensive machine, so I moved it in the shop, and I'm using it in the shop. And these are all my other electronic machines, and these are just so expensive to have on the van. You know, I'm going up and down dirt roads and stuff. I'll show you what I switched on the van. We'll go out the back door here. Oops. Well, there's my service van. And let me tell you, I love the Ford Transit. It's worked out great. I didn't get the one with a high roof for 2 reasons. It was a lot more expensive. I got the stretch model, so it's a little bit longer than a regular Ford van, the regular Transit, just because most of the time I'm at the counter on the van. And there's my van. As you can see, we're coming up. Let me kick on the inverter here. Kick on the inverter so you can see a little bit better. This is my solution, and I love this framing. Couple reasons is, so you use these series of spacer blocks. Let me back this off. They don't fly out of the machine if you leave one in, because they're spring-loaded. They snap in. And pretty much the way framing works, in case you don't know, is you are going to set your first cut. So basically you're going to dial it over to your first cut. Let's say it's 127. So 50, 100, 25, 6, 7. Okay, so you set your first cut, which is this mark here, and then you're going to back your spacer block. Now you got to know your spacing, and it says on generic code software, it also says in the book. So whatever your spacing is, 120, 160, so you're going to back this up to your first cut. There, now it's all set up. It won't change. And then let's say you're doing a number 4 cut. Let's say you're doing whatever it is in the book. It'll say 250. Let's say you go to 250. Okay, so you go to 250. If you can see that there. and then you just pull this lever and it's going to cut it. And what I like to do is when I do it, let's say there's more than 1 4 cuts, I'll do all the 4 cuts at once so I don't have to reset it. So let's say there's 3 4 cuts, and then you go back and then you do your number 2 cut or whatever. And it might be a hair slower, but it never fails. This is an awesome machine. There are a few different cutters. I have a Medco biaxial cutter that I almost never use. I almost never do any Medco anymore. Most of these are for my other silica machine. These are both for my silica. That's for doing Tibby keys. And this is a replacement silica cutter. These are a couple flat steel cutters. These are framing cutters. But I just thought I'd do a little video, a thumbs up. When there's a great machine and it's just stood this test of time and it will never fail you, this is the machine to get. This is the Freeman FRA2 model, and I have these in all my vans, and no complaints. And they last. You can buy one that's 30 years old that works just as good as this one. Anyway, Steve from Steve's Locksmith Shop signing off.